Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. You know, looking back 5 years ago, you could grab a good running 5.3 from almost any junkyard for a few $100. Today, good Gen 3 engines are getting harder to find and the prices are going up. I think we're beginning to see the end of cheap LS swaps. But those swaps didn't end overnight. Good quality donors and parts have been slowly disappearing over a period of time now, and we're just now being able to see it. If you're planning an LS swap for your OBS Chevy truck, and because you think it's going to be a cheap way to make power, well, the internet's been lying to you. For the past 10 or 15 years, the golden rule of hot rodding was simple. Walk into any pick and pull type salvage yard and walk out or drag out a complete running low mileage 5.3 or 6 liter engine for $300 to $500. Everyone repeats the same argument. They made millions of them. They'll always be cheap. And for a while they were. Between 1999 and 2007, GM produced millions of trucks and SUVs with the 4.8, 5.3, or the 6 liter V8 engines. GM sold like 600 to 700,000 every year. Just find any Silverado, Sierra, Suburban, Tahoe, Yukon, or Escalade, you found a powerful motor begging for a cam and a swap. Gen 3s are more desirable than the Gen 4s because they're simpler. Many have drive-by cable. That's easier and simpler to deal with when swapping to an older car or truck than the more complicated electronics of the drive-by-wire version. You don't have AFM or DOD headaches and no VVT complications, making them an easier swap. And when using the 0411 PCMs, the drive-by-wire can be converted to a drive-by cable. The Gen 3 motors had iron block durability, junkyard availability, and were very affordable. So you may be asking, what changed? Well, for one thing, YouTube made LS swaps mainstream. Suddenly, it's the swap to do. Demand exploded. LS swaps found their way into nearly every conceivable car and truck on the planet. LS swap guys were buying everything. The attitude was if you blew a motor up, just grab another junkyard motor and swap it in and keep going. But now good Gen 3 donors are aging out. I honestly think in 5 to 10 years, people are going to look back and wish that they'd bought a good Gen 3 motor now while they're still available and affordable. I've done some research lately, and I've found that the industry scrappage rate combined with age estimate that approximately 65 to 75% of vehicles are no longer on the road. For a run of 10 to 12 million vehicles, that means roughly 7 to 9 million have been taken off the road due to accidents, rust, mechanical failure, or high mileage. This era of GM trucks do have a reputation for durability and easily have reached 300 to 400,000 miles or more. Then there's something called the 20-year cliff. Standard automotive data shows that passenger vehicles face a steep drop in survival once they pass 15 to 20 years of age. And while these trucks survive at a higher rate than the cars, they're now 20 to 27 years old. The truck's downfall is rarely the motor. It's usually rust, transmission failure, or an accident. And as they get older, it's just much easier to total them out and write them off. To add insult to injury, back in 2009, our president came up with the Cash for Clunkers program, and that program claimed tens of thousands of perfectly functioning Gen 3 equipped trucks. Have you been to a salvage yard lately? 4.8 and 5.3 motors and with high mileage cost nearly $1,000 and $1,500 for a 6 liter. Lower mileage engines easily fetch more than $2,000. But here's the truth the internet ignored. The simple math has changed. Supply and demand is different now. Low mileage motors are much harder to find in good running condition. Have you ever pulled a motor from a damaged truck in the heat or the cold or the rain in a salvage yard laying flat on your back in the gravel? It's not fun. The tools at the yard they give you to work with to help pull that motor are usually crappy, and you have to hope you have all the right tools. Plus, there's the time pressure. You got to get that motor out before they close. And if you can't, what do? You have to come back the next morning to get it, or else somebody else is going to get that motor you worked your tail off to get. Looking at marketplace for LS motors, dirty, greasy motors laying on the ground in someone's driveway with all the accessories gone, claiming it runs good for $350 to $750. Check out these examples. Are you really going to believe that? Buy any engine that way, build it up, install it, put it in your truck, and wait to hear if it has a rod knock on the first startup? LQ4 and LQ9 engines are not as plentiful as the more common 5.3. Therefore, the price is higher and they're harder to find. Commercial rebuilders like KLQ, ATK, and Jasper buy engine cores in large quantities and rebuild to resell them. So it makes it harder for individuals like you and me to be able to find a good motor. And if you take your new motor to a machine shop, you can remove the words cheap and budget from your project. The cheap LS swap and creators who make that claim are usually using parts that they have accumulated over many years, or they're omitting a lot of hidden costs. Don't get me wrong, I'm not bashing them. Deals can be found, but if you do all the work, it can be done for a better dollar cost. There's always going to be the guys that say, hey, I swapped my truck for $1,500. Ask to see pictures of it and a breakdown of the costs. The money really adds up quickly when you walk into a parts store and for $100 you walk out with a bag with engine fluids, gaskets, and some knickknacks. Anyone who has done a decent swap can tell you by looking at their monthly credit card statement, stuff adds up fast. Beware of buying engines that are not complete with accessories. Unless you have a stash of LS parts, that marketplace $400 engine can easily turn into $1,000 to a $1,500 engine. Seller may have told you it was running when it was pulled, but you don't have any proof and you didn't hear it run. Same with the mileage. Buying a donor is still a good bet, but the prices of them are going up. Checking on my local auctioneer's website, trucks I was buying a few years ago for $600 to $1,000 are now $1,500 to $2,000. They're not guaranteed to run and they have unknown mileage. Check out these listings. This is a good example. I purchased a 2004 Isuzu Ascender several years ago, and it had the aluminum 5.3 in it. And I pulled the engine and transmission out. The truck ran and drove. It was beat up on the outside. Here's a couple of pictures of it. This is the engine from it. Has about 195,000 miles. Ran good. Pulled the engine, transmission, the wiring harness, PCM, all the parts I thought I'd need for a swap, and I've got it sitting on a stand. I was able to sell a few parts off of the truck, have the rest crushed, and got back about $400 on my investment. So now I've got a complete engine, transmission, harness, all the electronics, and I'm in it for maybe $450 to $500 at the most. This other engine, now this was acquired a little differently. This is a 6-liter. It's a 2002 model, and it is the drive-by cable. And it is an LQ4, and it has about 175,000 miles on it, and it costs more. I bought this engine knowing it was running, because I knew it would run, and it came with a guarantee, for $1,500. I know a lot of you are saying, $1,500, that's expensive. Well, it did come with the harness and the PCM, guaranteed to run, and a warranty, and that's just what they're going for in my area. They're actually going for more now. I bought this about a year ago. I also built this engine test run stand. It doubles as a cart, but it has removable components to make it a test run stand, and that way I can test the motor out before I install it in anything to make sure that it runs, doesn't have any leaks, and is good to go. I would highly advise, unless you can hear an engine run before you buy it, to make sure it's a good motor before you install it in your car. Otherwise, it's an awful lot of work to take it back out and fix something on it. Don't get me wrong, I'm not bashing. Deals can be found and you can do all the work, and it can be done at a better dollar cost. There will always be the guy that says he LS swapped his truck for $1,500. Ask to see pictures of it and a breakdown of the cost, because it's real easy to walk into a parts store and walk out with $100 worth of engine fluids, filters, some gaskets, and miscellaneous knickknacks. Anyone who's done a decent swap can tell you by looking at their monthly credit card statement, little stuff adds up quickly. So if you're thinking at this point, maybe a Gen 4 motor is a better way to go, well, it depends. The Gen 4 motors will be in the same situation in the future as the Gen 3 motors are today. and they also have the added complexity of displacement on demand and variable valve timing to deal with. Those features can be eliminated, but it costs you more money to do it. The bottom line is now, if you can find a good running Gen 3 motor, buy it now. I honestly believe in 5 years from now that LS engine is going to double in price. Do you think cheap LS swaps are disappearing, or am I wrong? Let me know. Comment below. Let me know what you're able to buy in your area, how much things cost, and if you see a difference in the way things were maybe a couple of years ago to where they are today. Just remember in the past, the old Fox body Mustangs, they used to be everywhere. Square bodies used to be everywhere. They were cheap. Then all of a sudden, they disappeared. The ones you can find now that are good are expensive. People who have parts want a mountain for them. It didn't happen overnight. It took some time for it to happen, but it did happen. Thanks for watching.